Hello, I'm Jenny Kleeman. I'm a journalist and broadcaster, and I'm the author of The Price of Life: In Search of What We're Worth and Who Decides. I was inspired to write The Price of Life during the pandemic when I realised that governments around the world were doing these very brutal cost-benefit analyses of how much a human life is worth and whether or not some lives are worth more than others. And it made me think, in what other circumstances are prices routinely put on human lives, and what can we learn about humanity from those prices? Researching the book took me to some very weird and wonderful places. One minute I would be reading quite a dry academic bit of research. The next minute I would be having a steak with a hitman in New York, asking him how he prices up his jobs. I went to an enormous factory in Texas where the most expensive weapon in the world is made. But I also spoke to bereaved families. I spoke to academics. I spoke to people who had had to negotiate for the release of their relatives who'd been taken as hostages. So it was really quite an amazing experience getting to research this book. In the course of writing this book, I found many things that really shocked me. I found out that the cheapest lives in the world and the most expensive lives are in the same place. In Afghanistan, people might sell their daughters for $500, but the US government is prepared to spend billions of dollars taking the life of an Afghan warlord or a Taliban fighter. I think perhaps the thing that really troubled me was just how unfair criminal injury compensation is, and that if you're killed in a terrorist attack and you're killed by a car, your life might be valued at more than £1 million. But if you happen to be stabbed by a terrorist, perhaps the same terrorist that has killed someone with a car only seconds beforehand, your life is only worth £11,000 to the British government. So there's incredible unfairness contained in these numbers. When I looked at the cost of COVID lockdown, I was really shocked to discover that the British government spent the equivalent of 6 times as much saving our lives from COVID than it would saving us from any other disease. And that's because the cost of lockdown, of saving a human life through lockdown measures, was £180,000 per person per year, whereas the NHS will spend £20,000 to £30,000 per person per year to save our life from any other disease. And that really surprised me. I wrote The Price of Life because I am a words person, not a numbers person. I look at human values, not numerical values. And my way of going about things is to have encounters with people rather than crunching the data. But I know that within those numbers, we can learn what really matters to us at the moment, what we're saying matters in a world of finite resources. And I hope that by putting these numbers out there, by revealing things like it costs the same to have a baby through IVF as it does to hire a hitman to end a life, I can show something about what our priorities are and also reveal incredible unintentional unfairness that exists in the world today. Thank you so much for watching. I really hope you enjoy reading The Price of Life as much as I enjoyed writing it. Goodbye.